Hey everyone, Dr. Richard Lai here with Study Acupuncture With Me. So if you're new here, I welcome you. My name is Richard, and I am a doctor of physical therapy, and I'm an acupuncturist. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. My goal here at Study Acupuncture With Me is very simple. It's basically just to make acupuncture topics as easy as possible to understand so that you, if you're in acupuncture school, you can feel confident in the clinic and you can feel confident going into the board exams. If you're an acupuncturist, this is a good refresher for you, I hope. So today we're going to talk about the heart organ, and we're going to talk about its functions in traditional Chinese medicine, and we're going to talk about how it connects to something that a lot of us and our patients experience, which is anxiety. And so when we think about the heart in Western medicine, we usually think about this physical pump that circulates blood throughout our entire body. In Chinese medicine, it does govern blood, but it also does a whole lot more than that. So the heart doesn't just move blood. It's said that it's governing blood. It also houses something very important, which is the shen, which is the spirit. This spirit plays a really important role in our consciousness, in our mental activities, and also actually our emotional stability. So if you're observing in the clinic, you might be making the connection that when the patient says, I feel anxious, I feel restless, I'm easily startled, when you go back into the office, the acupuncturist usually says that this is pointing to the heart. So today we'll talk about why. All right, so now let's break it down a little bit. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the heart has a lot of very important functions. Number one, the function is that it governs the blood. So it's responsible for circulating blood throughout our entire body, and it makes sure that all the tissues in our body are well nourished. Number two, it houses our shen. So it houses our spirit. The spirit is our mind. Our spirit is our ability to think clearly. Our spirit is our emotions too. It's our ability to feel joy. It's our ability to connect to each other emotionally. It's also a sign that the lights are on. That's our spirit. The heart also opens into the tongue. That's one of the sayings of the tongue. And so if someone has heart issues, they may have some speech issues. They may have stuttering. They may also have a red tip on their tongue, which that's a organ indicative area that tells us that something is going on with the heart. And number four, the heart manifests in the complexion. So when you see your patient that they have a bright, rosy face, that shows that there's good heart blood. If they have a dull or pale colored face, that usually tells us that there's some sort of deficiency. So then the question is, how does all of this relate to anxiety? So anxiety in traditional Chinese medicine, it's basically referred to as a disturbance of the shen, or a disturbance of the spirit. The spirit or the shen, that's what's housed in the heart. It's the residence. It holds residence in the heart. So if heart blood is deficient or heart yin is deficient, then the shen doesn't have a good, strong foundation for it to rest. So it's kind of like you're lying in a bed that has no mattress, basically, or there's no pillow, or there's no blanket. You just can't settle well in that bed. So same way with heart blood deficiency or heart yin deficiency, the shen is going to be restless. So that's why your patient will feel uneasy. They'll feel anxious. They'll feel just like they have trouble sleeping. They'll have insomnia. You might have seen in your textbooks a phrase that has to do with the heart not being peaceful. That means the shen can't really rest. So now in terms of anxiety and how it relates to the heart, there's some other symptoms that can be present depending on the pattern that's related to the heart. So for example, if there's heart blood deficiency, other symptoms that we'll see in our patient is palpitations, poor memory, dream disturbed sleep. They'll have a pale complexion because of the blood deficiency. The patient might say, I feel nervous, I feel anxious, and this is kind of all the time, but I don't really know why. If it's heart yin deficiency, we might see some more empty heat signs. So for example, the night sweating, some irritability, a tongue without coat. And for this patient, the patient might say, at nighttime especially, my mind doesn't like to shut off. I'm exhausted, but I can't really sleep. Another pattern is heart fire blazing. So this is an excess condition. So this is where the anxiety is different because there's agitation with this. There's restlessness with this. There's even some more heat signs. There could be like mouth ulcers. They could have a tongue ulcer, a gum ulcer or something. Most likely a tongue ulcer. They would have insomnia. They would have even wild, vivid dreams. This type of patient, they are very excess. So they'll talk fast. They will say they feel hot. They feel irritated. That's a patient with heart fire blazing. Now, with traditional Chinese medicine, it is never as simple as that. So traditional Chinese medicine likes to be as complicated as possible. So basically it gets very interesting because the heart alone doesn't manifest in anxiety. There's other organs that get involved too. So for example, the spleen. The spleen is an organ that produces blood. That blood nourishes the heart. So if the spleen is weak or deconditioned, it's not going to generate enough blood. And so that can lead to insufficiency in terms of heart blood. So then what happens with the spirit? What happens to the shen? It loses its foundation. It loses its anchor. So we get this mixed pattern of heart and spleen deficiency, which is something very common actually, especially in students or people who are basically under a lot of stress all the time, or they worry a lot, or they overthink about things. That's spleen and heart blood deficiency. Another organ that comes up a lot with anxiety is the liver. When the liver qi stagnates, it can transform into heat because of the stagnation, and that can disturb the heart. That can then agitate or disturb the shen. So this is an excess condition. So this is where there's some heat involved there. So there could be some irritability in this pattern. There could be some chest tightness. There would definitely be a lot of sighing with this patient. So this is because of the liver qi stagnation. And that liver qi stagnation is transforming into heat or fire, and that fire is harassing the heart. Sometimes the kidney also gets involved with anxiety, especially if there's chronic anxiety, or this anxiety is something that's deep-rooted in their psyche, something that's been happening for a long time, maybe something from their childhood. The kidney, we know, houses another spirit, which is the zi, or the willpower. Another relationship between the kidney and the heart is that if kidney yin is deficient, it's not going to nourish the heart yin, and that is another foundation for the spirit, so it's going to lead to a restless spirit again. So that's why you'll see a lot of times a kidney-heart disharmony pattern, where basically the patient's going to feel anxiety, they're going to say they feel hot at night, they're going to say that they can't fall asleep, or they feel panicky, like they wake up in a panic or they wake up in a sweat. So as you can see, there's a lot of different manifestations of anxiety, which is why we want to talk to our patient about how they're experiencing it. Is it at night? Is it during the day? Do they wake up? Are they sweating? Basically, we're trying to figure out, is it a deficiency type, meaning like a blood or a yin deficiency, or is it an excess type, like a fire or even like a phlegm that's like disturbing or misting and disturbing the shen? Because your treatment for either or is going to completely change depending on if it's a deficiency or an excess. If it's a deficiency type, then we're going to nourish. We're going to nourish blood if it's blood that's deficient. We're going to nourish yin if it's yin that's deficient. And of course, we're going to calm the shen. If it's an excess type, we're going to clear whatever it is, clear heat, or we're going to resolve phlegm. And of course, with that, we're going to also calm the shen. Now, in terms of points, some common points for anxiety, you can always grab at heart 7, which is called shen men. That's to calm the mind. Pericardium 6 is another one that can actually regulate your heart. It can open up the chest since the pericardium goes to the chest. Ren 14 or Ren 15, those are also both very good points right near the heart that can calm the shen as well. If you're noticing that it's a heart and spleen connection that's happening, then you can include something like stomach 36 or a spleen 6. If it is a kidney heart not harmonized, you can use kidney 3 or kidney 6. That can help to nourish some yin. If it's an excess condition like heart fire blazing, so we want to bring in like a clearing heat point on the heart, which heart 8 would be good for that as well. And that one can also settle the spirit. So the big takeaway from a TCM perspective is that anxiety isn't necessarily just something psychological, that it's in the mind. In TCM, there's this connection between the organs and the spirits and our manifestation. So if it's a heart and shen connection, it a lot of times involves a lot of organs that are interconnected. And so that's why we need to approach it from a whole body perspective. We're not just going to be calming the symptoms in our patient. We're going to try to restore some harmony between all these organs, between the heart, between the spleen, between the liver, and between the kidney. So that's when we can actually help the patient achieve some sort of balance. All right, everyone. So that was today's topic on the heart and anxiety. If this was helpful for you, please share this episode with a friend, with a classmate, someone who's studying for the boards, or they're seeing a lot of anxiety patients in their clinic. If you want to keep some of this momentum going, I'm going to encourage you to sign up for my Quick Win newsletter. It's basically one exam style question every week going into your email inbox. In there, there's a full answer breakdown, so you can practice a question and you can try to answer it, and you can learn why you got it right or wrong in just 5 minutes. You can sign up for this at www.studyacuwithme.com/quick win. All right, everyone, until next time, God bless and happy studying.